this here is my 2001 4Runner SR5. It's a 3rd gen, just real beauty. 205,000 miles. Drives like she only has 200. She's very solid. Engine still runs perfectly fine. Whole drivetrain is really tight. Steering's still pretty tight. Ball joints are all good. I know those tend to be an issue, especially this late in the game. There is one where the boot's coming off, and that's on the list for later projects. I got some new Goodyear Wranglers on her. The one issue that I came across, especially when working underneath, spent a lot of time underneath this summer, and there's rust. She's lived in Illinois her whole life, and even with fantastic maintenance on the car, the guy who owned it for 2 years, who sold it to me, did a lot of washing off all the salt underneath every year, or every week, I think he said. Did a real good job with that, so it didn't progress too much. This is the side that I spent hours die grinding and wire brushing to get all the rust off, and then used some rust converter and then some semi-gloss enamel, and that cleaned up real nice. Socially distant restoration, looks great from 6 feet away. The skid plate, I got a new one. I haven't put it on yet. But yeah, that was just falling apart. It was just toast, completely rotted. Gas tank still looks real good though. Yeah, she's a work in progress. Got a hitch on her. It only took a month and a half, 2 months to come, something like that. Thank you, eTailor.com, for your quote-unquote quick ship. I don't know. What can I say? Yeah. Best part about these trucks, the rear window rolls down. I love it, especially when you got the front ones down. You get basically just a wind tunnel going on, which is especially helpful because she's got a pretty good AC leak. I filled it up at the start of the summer, and about a week before I left for a 10-hour drive to where I go to school, just blowing hot air, just nothing. So drove with the windows down the whole time. It was a real hoot. So this is the side that I haven't done yet, and I mean, I did a little bit. Kind of ran out of time this summer, but you can see some of the cross members got a little bit going on. The outside of this side, realistically, not all that bad. The inside, I'll splice in a video. Sorry about the plane. I'll splice in a video. That's where the issues lie. That's why I haven't taken her on anything really cool as far as like off-road stuff yet. I'm waiting to get that all patched up. I'm going to a place that is certified by the safety cap producers, the guys who make safety cap. They're out of Rhode Island, but they got a whole bunch of people around kind of the northeast-ish areas that are certified installers of their products. So going to get that done soon. A little bit of a hurt on the wallet, but nothing that can't be expected with these Toyota frames that have lived in a salty place for their entire lives. Got the roof rack, came with the truck. It's useful. Mounted a little weird, but it stayed on this far and holds stuff, so not much more you could ask it to do. Got a Black Horse brush guard, mostly just trying to keep the front of the truck intact if I do hit anything. Thought about doing one of the ARB bumpers. They look pretty sweet. little expensive for what I got right now. So maybe I'll just wait till this whole deal rots through. Probably shouldn't be too long. Then throw this on Craigslist. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Replace the suspension parts, the shocks. Got some nice Homer Simpson color Bilsteins in there. These skid plates still doing pretty well. Yeah, it was just the gas tank one that was just like, I think it came off in 2 pieces basically. Once I got I broke 2 bolts getting it out, just even with the torch and the PB blaster and all the fun stuff. Yeah, no, the frame, the passenger side needs some work, but you know, nothing that can't be expected. The body's in really good shape. There's tiny tinges of rust kind of starting. Maybe I'll bring it to a body shop someday, get that done. There's a little dent in the hood. Maybe parked it at a golf course. I don't know what the deal is. Little one in the side from a parking lot somewhere in here. It's kind of hard to see with the glare, but you know. Yeah, but overall in really good shape. The rear bumper's in good shape. I did a lot of the same stuff I did on the driver's side frame, just die grinding and all that. I did that under where the spare tire goes, so underneath basically from the rear axle back. I did the rear axle as well. That was a little rough. Not as much frame rot, but just lots of chunky pitting, you know. So it'll be good for the time being. This is going to be my daily driver for now, but might become the designated adventure mobile at some point if it really just isn't doing too good. Yeah, and then on the inside, upholstery reasonably clean. A few little stains here and there. Who cares? You know, I'm not a classy guy, so it's all fine with me. The one cool part that is going to drive me up a pole when I choose to deal with it is the engine light. You'll see we got the check engine light and then VSC off, VSC track. It's P014 something or other. I don't know exactly. I'll put it in the description, but it's the very general and completely unhelpful emissions code that could be one of like 17 different things apparently. Yeah, that'll be a joy to deal with. I don't know. We'll get to it eventually. Just got a new radio that does not dim and is way too bright at night. Again, whatever. The one thing I will say about these vehicles is the view out the back is just spectacular. It's so easy to see. Like newer vehicles, all the windows are they just squish them down. That, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I know it's safer to have smaller windows, but the rear windows being big, just like the rear view mirror, you can see everything. Really makes it easy. Got my nice bike rack for when I take my mountain bike out. Came with WeatherTech floor mats, which is sweet. The carpets underneath are fantastic shape. Still getting pretty good mileage. I think fully loaded with hundreds of pounds of crap and the brush guard and the roof rack, I was getting like 19 something on the highway, which is impressive for a 20-year-old truck, I think. I don't know. The temperature gauge did not work when I got the truck. The guy who had it before me said the temperature gauge had gone out and he had accidentally ripped the wire out trying to get it out, just because the clips are a nightmare. And not to mention, this temperature gauge is in the most frustratingly tight spot you have ever seen. Yeah, so sorry about that. So yeah, it's basically squirreled way down back in there. There's a little red wire going to it that we had to replace. We added a little extension onto the nub of what was left, but it's under all these heater hoses, and it's a mess. So fun story with that. I had basically gotten the whole thing ready. Didn't have the new part yet, so pulled the old one out to find the part number, and then when putting it back in so I could move my truck out and switch cars in our driveway, because we got a bunch of cars, little driveway, it snapped. So the bottom half was still in the engine block. It was kind of acting like a plug, so it wasn't nightmare scenario, but I, using my extractor bits, could not get it to budge. It was in there. The shop had to, I begrudgingly took it to the shop because I just really needed to get out of town to get to school on time. Yeah, that was an expensive fix for them to take the whole intake off to even be able to get a drill back there. I think I might have it in the passenger seat here, or passenger glove box. Yeah, so here we got the most expensive $15 part ever. So this is the part that came off with the ratchet, and this is the rest of the temperature sensor that cost an unbelievable amount of money for them to get out, just because I did not have the means to do it myself. Yeah, keep that for a souvenir of the dumbest money I've ever spent. But, you know, temperature gauge works now. She doesn't overheat at all, which is great. I wasn't concerned about the guy trying to stiff me on an engine that was overheating, because there is another temperature sensor for the coolant on the front in yay area somewhere. I don't know exactly where. I think it might be behind the timing cover, actually. That is the one that controls the ECT, so it would throw an engine light or something if it was actually overheating. I did a pretty long test drive and there were no issues. No weird sounds, nothing off as far as I could tell. Yeah, and then I got the timing belt and water pump done just because I don't know how to do that myself, even with the service manuals. I'm not quite there yet. I'm pretty amateur when it comes to mechanics. Yeah, but reasonably clean under here. No oil leaks or anything. Had to get a new alternator and then just got a new battery while I was at it. Yeah, topped up all the fluids. She doesn't chew through oil as much as I thought she would, which is good. Got the guy I got it from had the halogen headlight bulbs in it, and who he got it from had put the LED ones in. He didn't like them, put them back, and then gave me the LED bulbs. So I put them back in just because I don't wear glasses, even though I should. And these are just so much brighter. Really makes it way easier to see at night. Yeah, I'm pretty thankful that he threw them in so I didn't have to spend $60. But yeah, pretty solid. Overall, I like it a lot. I've had it for basically just the start of summer. I've driven it. Come on now. Sweet. Yeah, I've driven it a couple hundred miles. I don't know exactly how much, but taking it on some longer trips, she does fine. Yeah, might start replacing ball joints next. That might be on the docket. Not exactly sure. Still have to get the frame stuff taken care of. So depending on how much that costs, that'll be kind of where we go from here. The back seat's really nice. Excuse all the outdoorsy crap back here. Yeah, the bike rack's in the way, but they fold up real nice, and I like the amount of room you get back here. I just put this down to keep all my dirty stuff off the carpet. He had something down there too, so like he had pets, but there wasn't even any pet hair underneath. Yeah, all the interior lights work. Upholstery is generally really good. I don't think anyone who owned this vehicle ever had kids, because the back seat is like perfect as far as you could ask for. No stains, like cushions still feel brand new basically. The cup holders, I think they replaced it with something else because it's a brownish color, and it is just, it's a mess. I don't know what the deal is here. It is just sticky, and I don't know. So that's, you know, just gonna stay in there. Yeah, it's a solid vehicle. 4-wheel drive system works pretty well. Taking it on just some flatter, muddy stuff, and it does perfectly. Yeah, can't wait to spend more of my hard-earned money making it look cool and be functional, of course. Yeah, but frame repair, that's on the docket. Window tints, I might take them off the front. I'm not really sure. It makes it real hard to see at night out the side windows. Around where I go to school, there's always a lot of pedestrians, and you just got to do the lean way forward and look out the front, but sideways deal, and that's just, I don't know. We'll see if I want to deal with that hassle. Came with the rain guards, which is nice, especially because, again, with the no AC, it's helpful. Yeah. So overall, pretty pleased with my purchase. All right, so let's do a little 4-wheel drive test. Excuse the banana, I was hungry. Yeah, so getting the lights on. They are fairly bright. It's a little hard to see just because I got the camera light on, whatever. The brush guard doesn't block them too much. It does seem to block a fair amount of the brights, but I don't really use those because these are bright enough anyways. Yeah, if I really am just dying for whatever reason from not being able to see enough, I might put some spotlights on the brush guard. We'll see. Might have to pick up an extra shift or two. I don't know. Yeah, so down here for the 4-wheel drive, so you got your regular park, reverse, neutral, drive to low, whoozy what's it. You got your little tow button there, the overdrive one. I think that's what it does. Overdrive, yeah. And then you got this one. This one is what controls putting it into 4-wheel drive, whether it's high, neutral, or low 4. It does take a little bit to click in. Sometimes you got to drive a little bit before it'll actually activate. Yeah, it's never taken it too long. Sometimes, you know, whatever. But so you can, from drive, you can shift into 4 high and just keep your speeds down. I think 62 is the max you're supposed to go, but I don't know anyone who's going that fast who would just immediately feel the need to turn it on. At a crawl, it seems to work fine, which is generally when I would turn it on anyways before I start going anywhere. I don't know. But so on the center of the dash, you can see right there-ish, that's where all the signals are. So I'll show you in a sec. But so there's the 4 tires, those blink green and stay green when the 4-wheel drive is on. And then the little circle in the center, that'll be orange. That's your center diff lock. There's a button here, and when you turn that on, it locks the center diff, so you can do 4-wheel drive with the diff locked or without. Yeah, so to turn on the 4-wheel drive just in the first place, you click that, and in a second you'll see it starts blinking, and there's a little bit of a clunk as it tries to get into place, and sometimes you got to move a little bit. See, and there it's engaged. So now we are engaged in 4-wheel drive, 4 high. Little gravel road parking lot thing here, it'll do just fine. Yeah, and then so to do the center diff, then you hit the diff lock button and it will blink again as it's trying to turn on. Again, as far as my understanding in the owner's manual, which I kind of skimmed, honestly, this one seems to take a little bit longer to click into place sometimes. I don't know why. It's beyond my understanding as any sort of mechanical stuff. Yeah, I don't see it being that much of an issue ever. Yeah, okay, so there it goes. There it's engaged. Sorry, I'm steering here. Yeah, and so that's it on, and then to do for low, you put it in neutral, and then you can shift from to neutral, and then for low, and then you're in for low. But you got to put it back in drive, of course. I'm an idiot. Yeah, and then you're in for low, and this is basically as capable as these vehicles will get off-road until you start doing aftermarket whatever. I don't know. Maybe there's something you can do where you put in locking hubs and whatever, but that's obviously out of my price range. And so that's for low, and then to take it out, put it in neutral again, and then bring it back down, and that's for high again, and then, god damn it, you got to put it in drive, and then we're good to go. And then to take it out of four-wheel drive, you just click that button again, and it'll just pull whatever goes on out, and then you are back to two-wheel drive, and you're cruising down the road, not having any issues and not breaking anything up inside your transmission, diff, whatever's going on. I don't know, but that's generally how it goes. The suspension, you know, still needs some work, but that's where we're at. So hope you enjoyed. There might be a few more videos coming out. I don't have a lot of ideas for content. I just wanted to give an overview because yeah, I'm a fan of these trucks, and I hope some of you are too, and just thought it'd be cool to get a little bit of a walk around of it, especially one that's, you know, in this great shape inside. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Again, I might take it out to, there's a four-wheel drive farm type deal about a half hour from where I go to school, so I might be taking it out there, maybe try and get some video. I don't know, we'll see. That requires passing a safety inspection, so hopefully there's no little gremlins there, and I'm able to do that after I get the frame all taken care of. So I'm gonna enjoy this really pretty sunset, and I hope you guys have a nice one where you are at too. So peace out. There's another thing I forgot to mention. There is something in the exhaust system, as far as I can tell, that is just sounds like a dying cat, honestly. I know it's the exhaust, or at least I assume so, because, well, you can't hear it now because it's warmed up, but start of every morning there's just this rattle that will not quit until the engine comes up to temp and you give her a little bit of beans and she warms up. Yeah, and then it's completely fine. I've pounded on the exhaust plenty of times just under the car trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, it's slightly annoying, and, you know, makes it sound like just some rust bucket, but it kind of is. Yeah, but now as soon as I pull out the camera, of course, she sounds completely fine, no rattles. You can only really hear it when the windows are down, but you can tell because people look at it a little funny. Oh well. Yeah, so that's it for today. Have a good one, everyone.